6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dulmin Samrasinghe, assisted by Chatura, and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The President's Office says ban on organizations removed in accordance with the UN Charter. The United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework launched. Samagi Janabalwega emphasizes that it is essential to restructure state institutions for the development of the country. Customs at the Katnayak airport seize gold valuing more than 200 million rupees. Jacqueline Fernandez is now an accused in extortion case. Foreign news, Thailand South rocked by wave of bomb and arson attacks. Sports, the Pakistan Super League is on course to becoming the first T20 league to go head-to-head with the IPL. News in detail. The President's Office said today ban on 6 organizations was removed in accordance with the Charter on Prevention of Terrorism, which has been approved by UN Security Council. It said the decision was made to remove the ban on 6 organizations as per the UN Resolution 1758/19 of May 15, 2012. As per the resolution, Secretary Minister of Defence was appointed as the competent authority of implementing the process of lifting bans on organizations. He was appointed as per an agreement reached between Minister of Defence and Minister of Foreign Affairs. The statement from the President's Office said Secretary Minister of Defence had to appoint a committee which comprises representatives of Minister of Foreign Affairs, Attorney General's Department, intelligence units, law enforcement institutions and financial investigations unit of the Central Bank. It has to look into the organizations which are to be banned and study how they have funded terrorism over the years and make recommendations on banning them. The statement added, monitoring pertaining to lifting of bans on 6 institutions began in March this year. The United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework 2023-2027 was launched today by the Government of Sri Lanka and the United Nations in Sri Lanka. The United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation is a framework that guides the work of all the UN agencies in Sri Lanka and articulates the collective vision and contribution of the United Nations to support Sri Lanka to accelerate actions towards the achievement of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The cooperation framework gives primacy to accelerating actions to ensure a rapid recovery from the economic crisis along with the impact of COVID-19, prioritizing support to revitalize the economy and economic activities, social services, decent employment, social cohesion and health and well-being for all people in Sri Lanka. Samagi Janabalwega MP Iran Wickramaratne has emphasized that it is essential to restructure state institutions for the development of the country. He said that the country's economy has been destroyed due to following wrong policies. By the first 4 months of this year, 52 state institutions had made a loss of 560 billion rupees. He said various revelations have been made in connection with the loans taken from China. He questioned whether state institutions are maintained on behalf of the people or maintained a small number of employees. During a media briefing at the opposition leader's office today, he said that the country not only lost international support, but the people will also lose the opportunity to maintain relations with the international community. 2 suspects, including an airline passenger and a female staff member of a duty-free shop, have been arrested at the Katnayak airport while attempting to smuggle 9.5 kilograms of gold biscuits worth over 200 million rupees into the country. Sri Lanka Customs said a passenger who had arrived from Dubai and a female staff member of the duty-free shop at the airport have been taken into custody. Around 80 gold biscuits were found from the possession of the suspects. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Actress Jacqueline Fernandez has been named an accused in the money laundering case against conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar, who faces charges of extortion amounting to a massive 200 crore Indian rupees. The actress has been named an accused in the supplementary charge sheet filed in Delhi court by the Enforcement Directorate, which is probing the money trail in the extortion case. Enforcement Directorate and Sukesh Chandrasekhar had given various gifts worth 5.75 crore Indian rupees to Jacqueline Fernandez from the proceeds of crime generated by criminal activities including extortion. Sabugaskanda Oil Refinery will become operational from Friday. Unloading of crude oil ship is now taking place. The Petroleum Corporation said that the ship carried 100,000 metric tons of crude oil to the country. Another ship with 120,000 metric tons of crude oil is scheduled to arrive in the country on the 29th. National Dengue Eradication Unit says that 1,590 dengue patients were found last week. Director of the unit, Dr. Sudat Samarira, said that more than 50% out of them were found from the Western Province. He said 56 medical health divisions of the country have been declared as dengue high-risk zones. He said more than 50,000 dengue patients have been reported up to now from the beginning of the year. The Foreign Employment Bureau says more than 150 Sri Lankans are leaving weekly for employment in Korea. Deputy General Manager of the Bureau, PDK Apa, said that they expect to further increase the number in future. Apart from that, there is a demand for employment in Israel, Japan and in several European countries. He said that Sri Lankans has a high recognition in the nursing care sector. He disclosed that there are many vacancies in the agriculture sector in Japan. However, it's essential to be proficient in languages for those employment opportunities. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In the main news story, China said that activities of its high-tech research vessel will not affect the security of any country and should not be obstructed by any third party as a ship berthed at Sri Lanka's strategic southern port of Hambantota amid Indian and US concerns. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin said yesterday the ship Yuan Wong 5 has successfully berthed at Hambantota port with active cooperation from the Sri Lankan side. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
A Strength to Your Life. CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable gifts and all bills are on 31st of October. Come to CIB today.
The 16th edition of the Hotel Asia Exhibition and International Culinary Challenge, organised by Maldives Exhibition and Conference Services, and will be held from October 10th to the 12th, 2022 at Darbargu in capital Male. The main event organizer for Sri Lanka is Lanka Exhibition and Conference Services. The entry for the exhibition is free of charge, and this year over 4,000 people are expected. That was Watchlight.
A Strength to Your Life. CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable gifts and all bills are on 31st of October. Come to CIB today.
World News headlines. Thailand's south rocked by wave of bombs and arson attacks. Iran responds to European Union's final proposal on a nuclear deal. Former Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison resists call to resign from Parliament. World News in detail. Officials said today that at least 17 locations were hit by a wave of attacks in the restive southern Thailand. The bombings and arson attacks, mostly targeting convenience stores and gas stations across 3 provinces, left 7 people injured. Military spokesperson Pramod Promin said the seemingly coordinated attacks happened after midnight in Patani and Narathiwat and Yala provinces. No one has claimed responsibility for the attacks. Iran has responded to what the European Union calls a final proposal to revive the 2015 nuclear deal. The agreement was aimed at curbing Tehran's nuclear activities in return for lifting of sanctions by the international community. The deal has been dysfunctional since US President Donald Trump withdrew the United States from it in 2018. Iran responded by stepping up its nuclear development. The EU has been mediating indirect talks between Iran and the US to restore the deal. Former Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has resisted his call to resign from Parliament after news emerged that he had secretly assumed 5 additional roles during his tenure. He defended his decision, which was taken during the pandemic, as necessary in extraordinary times. The revelations caused uproar amongst the public and his colleagues, with one calling his behaviour dictatorial. Back to the headlines of the world news. Thailand's south rocked by wave of bombs and arson attacks. Iran responds to European Union's violent proposal on a nuclear deal. Former Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison resists calls to resign from Parliament. And that ends world news. On to development news. Sri Lanka's Institute of Tourism and Hotel Management has signed an MOU with the Australian government-funded Skills for Inclusive Growth program managed by Palladium International Group. Skills for Inclusive Growth program is a program of the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in accordance with the terms of a subsidiary agreement signed on March 31, 2022 between the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and Sri Lanka State Ministry of Skills Development, Occasional Training, Research and Innovations. And that was development news.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Sports news, it's cricket. Pakistan's Super League is on course to becoming the first T20 league to go head-to-head with the IPL in 2025. The situation caused Pakistan's packed home season in 2024-2025. The schedule crunched that seasons mainly because Pakistan is hosting its first ICC tournament, the Champions Trophy, in February 2025 in almost 30 years. That forced the Pakistan Cricket Board to ink in a window for the 10th season of the Pakistan Super League between March and May. Olympics news. A former director of the Tokyo Organizing Committee of the Olympic and Paralympic Games has been arrested on suspicion of accepting bribes. Prosecutors in Tokyo also arrested 3 others related to a clothing company that had sponsored the Tokyo Games on suspicion of bribery. Prosecutors have not revealed whether the 4 have admitted to the allegations. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Commercial Bank has launched a certificate course in SME skills development exclusively for women entrepreneurs in collaboration with the Postgraduate Institute of Management affiliated with the University of Sri Jagadhanpura. Bank said the course will consist of 3 7-hour-a-day sessions spread over 3 months, followed by a practical presentation session. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Canada and Sri Lanka signed a memorandum of understanding on Monday to implement the WUSC Volunteer Cooperation Program 2020-2027. The MOU was signed by High Commissioner of Canada to Sri Lanka, David Mackinnon, and Secretary Minister of Finance, Mr. K. Mahinda Siriwardana. Mr. Mackinnon said the program will contribute to sustainable economic growth in Sri Lanka and foster closer relations between the two countries. And that was economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
In the weather report, the Met Department forecasts several spells of light showers in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Galle and Matra districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the central, Uva, eastern, northern, north central provinces during the evening or night. That was the weather report, and to end this news broadcast, back to the headlines. The President's Office says ban on organizations removed in accordance with the UN Charter. The United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework launched. Samagi Janabalwege emphasizes that it is essential to restructure state institutions for the development of the country. Customs at the Katnayak Airport says gold valuing more than 200 million rupees. Jacqueline Fernandez is now an accused in extortion case. Foreign news, Thailand's south rocked by wave of bomb and arson attacks. Sports, the Pakistan Super League is on course to becoming the first T20 league to go head-to-head with the IPL. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.